This is the Swarm and Shoot football show with me, Manny Matsakis, as we kick off Season 2. We've been fortunate because we've had a few good interviews. We bring Lynn Grohl on here, and he's able to interview some of our players. And we've got a lot coming up in this upcoming season. And this Swarm and Shoot football show is brought to you by Big B Coffee, which I've got right here. And it's right across campus here on North Clinton Street. Get the finest coffee beverages in Defiance, as well as great pastries and breakfast sandwiches to start off your day. And for most of us, we also get a pick-me-up in the afternoon by heading across the street to see Sue and everybody over at Big B Coffee. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, BSN Sports. Rob Held, Jim Garris, and the crew over here, the sales team, are the professionals that you definitely need to get in touch with to get your gear. All the DC gear. If you're a high school program out there listening to this, get in touch with these guys and they will help you out. They do a fantastic job with high schools, colleges, businesses in the area. Can get whatever type of apparel they need customized just for their business. So I know Rob does a great job for us. Jim is our rep that I see virtually every week of the year, and it's outstanding customer service.
Welcome back to the Swarm and Shoot football show. We're joined today by Manny Matsakis again, coach, coming off of a very good win on Saturday. You guys played very well against Anderson. Take me through your initial reaction to Saturday.
Well, initially, I think we were really concerned because they were the number one passing offense in our conference, and it was quite a challenge. And they'd scored a lot of points all season long and played teams in shootouts. And offensively, we were getting our identity, but we just haven't had the proficiency yet to score a lot of points, but we were improving, so we knew we would make some progress. Just didn't expect to come out and go 30-0 at the half, which was for us was remarkable.
Yeah. You got up 14-0 about midway through the first quarter, and the offense was on fire. Yeah. What did you feel like got you going and got that offense really rejuvenated and really firing on all cylinders?
Well, I think initially it's the demolition crew, the offensive line. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That's our identity. The offensive line, they're lunch pail guys. I mean, they work hard with Coach Shank and do a fantastic job just improving every week, and they have. And and then they've got the bus back there and Tyshaun Freeman, and I think that's what got us going. It was he runs so hard. Guys block better with that, and then shoot. I think second play of the game, we threw a screen pass to him, which people don't realize how good a hands he's got. As good a hands as any of our receivers. He's just, you wouldn't think a big guy at 5'10", 270 some pounds has great hands, but he does. He can catch everything, and so we threw his first screen of the year. And he took that thing away. It's 30-some yards, I think. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. Now we feel, hey, we can run and we can throw. And Daylon Lange had the best 2 weeks in a row, the highest grade I've ever had here for a quarterback at just near 80%, which you got a quarterback – in the high 70s, 80s, you're going to win a lot of games in this offense. So I thought that was big, and our defense played lights out. I thought that they did a fantastic job. We challenged our defensive backs because, you're facing a passing team. So we challenged them. I thought they did a great job there. We had interceptions. We had sacks with the defensive front. I think we had 4 or 5 sacks in that game, and it was something that was awesome to behold because all 3 sides of the ball did great.
I want to ask you about Tyshaun and his nickname Bus. I don't know if that gives him full justice.
No.
He's more like a dump truck or a train, a Mack truck. I don't know what you want to call it. But I don't know that a bus gives him enough credit.
We couldn't think of anybody. And in retrospect, I have another name because I was trying to find a back because we were giving him a jersey number, And I said, well, the closest I can think is Jerome Bettis. So there's the bus, So and that's sort of how Jerome used to like play, and it's like. He'd get a couple yards first quarter, and then the second half, fourth quarter, he just carried it. He'd get 100 yards in the second half in the NFL, and he sort of reminded me of that kind of a runner.
He is,
But there was another guy. I don't know if you remember him, Craig Ironhead Hayward.
Yes.
He's more like that guy, most likely, because he's a bigger version of the bus, because the bus wasn't 270 pounds. He was about 240, I think, But he's also really nimble, and people don't realize when he gets through
feet
there.
are amazing.
Oh, yeah. And there was one time he's in there, it was up our sideline, and it was a first down play. He gets I think 3 yards, off tackle play. And I counted on the film afterward. It took 7 guys to tackle him, and they didn't bring him down. It's just the forward progress stopped, And honestly, if they'd have let it go another second, he might have broke through those guys. So it was just – and our kids get excited on the sideline watching him run with that effort. And in the end, what was interesting is our other backs have improved because they see that is our standard of play. That's how you play superback. And, and we'll talk about Nazavious Williams,
Right.
had a great game.
Right. And Tyshaun is, he's just demoralizing for the defense, too.
Yeah,
It takes half their team to bring him down, and he's getting 5-6 yards. And by second quarter, you're tired of tackling a tree trunk, really.
Yeah, and it got to the point in the game where, there were some shots he was taking underneath the pile that made me a little uncomfortable. And I'm like, we're up 30-0, and I just sat him. And I said, let's go. We got, we got Bluffton, this week coming up. So I wanted to make sure that he was as healthy as could be, because he was, the film afterwards showed it was not very nice, some of the things that were happening under the pile. And so I'm like, I'm not going to put him in harm's way. So
he took a late shot on that one touchdown he had, too.
Yeah, after he had already scored.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was piling on, giving you the business, as they say.
Right. Let's talk about Williams, because there was a lump. Well, I can mention his name, Tim Van Horn, and I know he watches this. Tim was texting me Saturday, and he said, man, they need a change of pace back. And that's about when Williams ripped off that, I think it was 74-yard run or something there in the second half. And it was kind of like, there you go, Tim.
Yeah, there he is, Nazavious Williams.
His coming out party on Saturday.
Yeah. I need a nickname for him, because a back should have a nickname. We're going to find something, I don't know.
Thunder and Lightning is a little used too much. But
but he reminds me of sort of like a history, like an Eric Dickerson type of guy, or back in my day, there was a guy named Tony Dorsett who was fantastic, but he was great at running that outside zone and those types of things. But, that's his style. He is fast. And he's explosive. And what I think is, in the last month, he has gotten better because he and Tyshaun are tight, and he's noticing, like, oh, okay. And the only time he gets in trouble is when he dances around. If he just hits the hole and trusts the demolition crew taking care of business up front, it can get pretty good for him. And it did. He had 19 carries, 181 yards, was named the HCAC Offensive Player of the Week, and he was on the national D3.com Team of the Week, which that's the first time I've had anybody do that. And so, in a backup role, he came in and literally was a lightning rod for the offense.
Yeah, it's got to be a little competitive for those two as well, when they're seeing the other one out there ripping off runs, and they're like, I want to get out there and do that too,
It is. I think internally, but honestly, they're such good teammates.
They're so happy for each other.
Oh, well, Tyshaun will sit there, and what I'm trying to teach them is, like, look, we don't want to substitute on offense, because I watched the boxcast version of the game afterwards, because I like to look at substitution and stuff. And there's six, 7 times in the game Anderson's trying to sub D linemen, and they're coming out. If we just snap the ball because we're not subbing, we get 30 some yards worth of penalties because there's too many men on the field for the defense. And it's like we're being nice. It's like, don't let them line up, go. When they're trying to do that, because that's why we don't sub. So sometimes Tyshaun will he'll do one of those patented, like, I just moved 5 guys on my back runs, and then he'll want to come out so Zay can play. And they're both the same. They all want each other to play. I'm like, no, stay in the game. Stay in the game, because we can take advantage of that. And I think eventually, as we get in better shape and they understand the offense more, we'll get more opportunities like that. But they're great kids. I mean, they hang out, and Zay has improved tremendously in the last couple months, and I just think they come to play, and Devin Hewitt did a good job when he bounced. He came in. They had a nice run on a counter for about 14 yards, and so there's another guy in there, and we Coach Wilson's got a stable of guys that we feel very comfortable with.
A couple of young guys you're going to have for a few more years.
Well, remember, this season didn't even count. They got 4 more years after this.
Right.
So it's like, look out. We just, and what's great is, like, we got midterm grades on on Tyshaun. I think he got all A's and a B. I mean, so you're talking good students too. He's a very good student. And so it's exciting that he takes care of business. And I think it rubs off on the whole unit. And it's very helpful for us as we build to where we want to go.
Yeah. You talked about Daylon. He's coming right along. He had, like you said, his best performance, and the receivers with that running game are getting some very open looks out there.
Yeah, I mean, he was 19 of 30 for 276.
Yeah.
We outpassed Anderson. They threw the ball 59 times.
Yeah, they've had some 500-yard passing games this year.
So it's like, here we are. We knew we'd outrush them, but who would have thought that we would have outpassed them and rushed them? So, I mean, that's the balance we like. It's not like in a game we want to go in and say, you know what, we're just going to run the ball. It's like, we've talked about this. It's like there's sort of a tipping point in the offense that once we get mature enough, which we're close, that we feel we can rush for 250, then we end up throwing for more than that, because they're dealing with what we're doing in the run game, and the pass game gets wide open, that's helpful for us. So I feel that's where we're maturing to and would like to be in the fall. And we're fortunate to be able to play these games in the spring so we can get there.
We don't want to give any disservice to the defense, because they were incredible on Saturday. We talked enough about the offense.
Best game we have played since I've been here. Defensively. I mean, you're talking about a high-powered air raid offense that literally we grounded them. I mean, let's think about this. What happened, what we were able to create used to just happen to us, and we'd be like, what is going on? It's like, we got a safety. We got a safety. That's huge on that. I mean, we blitzed Damon Thomas. Bang, he nails it, right on the money. I mean, Javon calls that blitz. It's on. It's perfect, and then you look at it, and then we get an interception with Rigo. He's on the D line. Boom, he turns. And I'll tell you what, Tyson Harley, their quarterback, throws the ball as hard as anybody. Now, if he played for us, he'd be an offensive tackle. He's that big. He's a big guy.
Right.
And sometimes he's like falling backward and he just slings it like sidearm, and that thing would just go whizzing by. You could hear it, It's like, this guy's good. And for our defense to be able to sack him as much as we did, and to be able to literally ground that offense was remarkable. I mean, our front seven, I love them. I mean, you look at Maurice Brewer had a sack. Damon Thomas had 2 sacks. One was the safety. And Richard Pope had a sack. So, I mean, that crew, they're coming along. They really are coming along. And it's nice that we've got them all in there playing. And then, Enrico, maybe the best of the bunch, and he's just so disruptive that they have to double team him all the time, and other guys get free. So I mean, that's exciting for us.
Yeah. What has been the difference for this defense to kind of really get it going here the last few weeks?
Maturing. I mean, honestly, if we would have played, if we had the last 2 games were Rose Hallman and Hanover, there's no way the result would have been like it was.
Right.
You know, we were just so young. I mean, they were getting one-play scores just because a guy was off maybe by a couple yards in alignment. You know, now they tightened it up and they understand where everybody belongs. But there's a bunch of newcomers on that defense that now are starting to play within the system. And I like our system. You know, it's interesting because right before the season in training camp, I met with our defensive staff and said, look, we don't have a lot of D linemen. We have to go from a 4 down to a 3 down. And it made sense, only because if we had been a 4 down, we wouldn't be able to sub anybody. So now we went to a 3 down O-line. Now we got 2 units that can go in because defenses, you want to have those guys fresh because they're running more, you know. So I think that decision initially cost us the first couple games, but now we're reaping the benefits of that because we have the ability, as we start to recruit more and get more guys, we can do both, which I think causes problems.
Yeah, and being at the game in person, that front 7 is – they're kind of a nasty bunch.
Yeah,
they're
they are.
Physical. They play with a little attitude.
Yeah.
Tough.
Well, they get it because I think both sides get it from each other because they're competing in practice every day. I mean, you got the demolition crew against the, you know, whatever we want to call the D-line. They're going to need a nickname pretty soon here, so we'll figure that out. But I think that competition every day makes us way better. I mean, for an offensive tackle to go against Maurice Brewer in practice, I mean, we can't block him. I mean, he's good. When he is healthy, and he hasn't played all season. You know, when he's healthy, he's tough to block. So, you know, knock on wood, he stays healthy, and he has a great summer because he's talking about coming back for grad school and all that in the fall, which a lot of those seniors are. Well, we only had 3 that walked out there, and they're all considering coming back, which is exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And a thing that we haven't talked about is the punting game, and it was kind of a liability the first couple weeks. But wow, maybe your most improved. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, position.
The ability to punt is important in a game like this because you look at the possession time. We have almost 35 minutes to 25 minutes. That's monstrous difference, right? And part of it is that we were pinning him back so far. We had 3 punts where we kept him inside the 20.
Right.
You know, Matt Bolanos, 40 some yards, 40. Let me see, he had 5 punts for 212 yards.
Yeah, a little over 40.
42.
Yeah.
You know, right there. I mean, right there, 42 yards a punt. And one of them was a 59-yarder. He just cranked on it, and he is punting fine into the wind, and it was windy, as you know.
Yeah.
And so he is greatly improved. I think Tristan Yeomans, our special teams coordinator, has done a really good job revamping some of the protections so he can get the ball and go. And you know, I think Noah Pastori's done a better job every week. He keeps getting better snapping the ball. He's vital to that unit. Snap it good, punt it good. You got a shot, and we're covering well.
Yeah. And now you have to deal with some success, and this is a team that has not had to deal with, hey, you guys are good. You know, everybody's telling them, hey, you played well, something different. Probably something that you've been getting into their heads since Saturday afternoon. That, hey, now you got to deal with this success.
The big thing is, I think at halftime is when I was the most concerned. You're up 30-0, right?
Yep.
And you're playing the number 1 passing offense in our conference. So it's like football is a game of momentum. You know, it goes back and forth. We had it all the first time. It wasn't like we were going to – it's tough to shut out a team like Anderson. No one had done it, you know, so I knew we had to do it. So the challenge was initially to tell our guys, look, hey, we have to come out and be able to exchange. I'm not saying we got to shut anybody out, but what we got to do is if they score, then we got to score.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it happened twice.
Yeah.
They scored, we scored.
Yeah.
They scored, we scored. And then honestly, they scored late on some of our, reserve players, and then we were in there and we could have scored on the last drive. It was about a 8-minute drive, and we just kept, just sort of pounding it forward. And I think we were in the red zone, and we basically just stopped. Which is funny because in the past, other teams when they played us, they run the score up all the time. That's just, it is what it is. And it's like Ernest was telling me, in meeting. After the game, it's a strange thing because our locker room is not big enough for the squad, so we have nowhere to meet with you've seen like these post-game celebrations, and they're all in a locker room. They don't do it out on the field, right? So when we played teams and they were, we would get it handed to us, our kids would see the opponent, counting up their score, whatever they would do. I didn't pay attention. I just knew it was loud. And I just told our guys after the game, I said, you know what? We're not going to do that, because it wasn't that long ago we were right in their shoes. All right. And I refuse to disrespect anybody that we play. So I said, you guys go in the locker room. I know there's no room in there, but just go in there. You celebrate there. But right now, just get locked in, and you played well. I'm proud of you guys. And then we just said the Lord's Prayer, and that was it. So it was like, that's where we went with it. And I don't buy that. I'm not upset that other people do it to us, because that's just, I don't know. I guess that's what people do, but I don't like it. And I just think when we win with class. And I think that's important for our young guys, because we're very young, to know that there's a way to win. You could be, and I'm not saying anybody else is this, but I've seen teams win with a bunch of thugs and not play, and not be very disciplined, because eventually I think it comes back to you, So I think we are learning every day, and we have to win with class, and I thought we did in that particular game.
Is there any concern with having to deal with success right now from your perspective, or do you feel like this group will handle it pretty well?
I think we have the capability of handling it well.
Good test this week to see kind of how.
I mean, geez, it's Bluffton week.
Yeah.
This is huge. We still are so young that we have to explain to them what this means. But there's enough guys now, at least that played in the 2019 game, that recall, that 10-7 win. And hey, that's not. I almost shoot straight with you. When we beat them in 2019, 10-7. They were way more talented than us. We had to trick them to win, because we hadn't won a game all year.
Right.
So it was like, I changed the offense that week. I did stuff I'd never done before. So we were in a wildcat most of the game. I mean, we were just doing. We start off the game with trick plays, double reverse passes and all that. So whatever it took, we were going to try. At least we wanted to go in at the end of the game saying, you know what, we may not have the talent, but we've closed the gap somehow, and we're fortunate we won. And it was awesome back in those days. You could have people in the stadium. All the students were on the field. They were doing the celebrating and all that, and it was great to win the hammer. But I think that was that game. Now, even though Bluffton is very talented, I think we are at a point now where I feel, even though we're a lot younger than them, I think we can compete with them and just do what we do. Now, I'm not saying you may not see trick plays on Saturday, because it is Bluffton.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of them we work on that they've never seen, but I would expect the same from them. Why wouldn't you? It's the Ohio State Michigan game for us. It is everything that that we live for on campus, and that's with every sport here. That's the game, and it is there too, which is what's awesome about this league, and what's awesome about the two schools. I mean, to me, I think Aaron Krebs is a fantastic coach. We talk off season. We talked earlier this season. I'll call him, he'll call me, and I think he's great. I really do. I think he is running a really good program down there. So there's a ton of respect, And I just know that it won't be hard for his guys to get up to play us and vice versa. So it should be a lot of fun on Saturday. And this is one of those games that I know if they would let people in the stadium, it would be standing room only. It'd be one of those deals. But fortunately, it'll be on their box cast, so that's where you want to watch it.
What is Bluffton Week like now that you've been here a few years, Coach? Explain that to us.
Well, the first year, I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. And they destroyed us the first year down there. And they had, I forget the guy's name, a D lineman that was like,
oh yeah, I think he was NFL
All-American. He was great, great deal.
Yep.
Maybe the best. He's the best D lineman I've seen in this league since I've been here. Fantastic player, and they were just dominating. And they were where they were. I mean, a really good program, and we weren't very good. Right. I mean, that's not mince words. We were bad. The only team we beat was Earlham, and they don't even play football anymore. So it's like, that was a tough year to go through. But you learn from it, and I noticed after that, the hammer came out. I said, what is that? It's like, we didn't really make a big deal. I know our alums get fired up about it, and we tried.
Yeah, you were too young to really understand what was going on.
Yeah, we were just not there. And then, then 2019 hits, and we say, all right, we're going to do whatever it takes. It's a one-game season. Let's make it happen. It helped us in recruiting. I think that's where it helps us. And it's not like we never, honestly, I can't remember in the 3 seasons I've been here, we've never recruited head-to-head against Bluffton. We don't go where they go. I mean, we're looking for a different kind of kid. They have, every administration's different in what the sweet spot is to the type of kid that you can recruit, type of player. Our deal is, we get a lot of kids that are maybe in remote areas that would love, like, look at Defiance when they come up here. It's a great town, and they're looking at this is like the big city for them. This is like, oh, this is great. Hey, we got a Chipotle now. We got all this stuff going on, and plenty of hotels and movie theaters and all this stuff that is great for a small college town. That's who we get. We get those types of players that may have a chip on their shoulder, and then we build with those guys, and honestly, if Bluffton goes somewhere, it's totally different places because we go coast to coast. You've seen our roster. There's nobody who recruits in more states than us. Probably including Ohio State. Nobody in this state recruits from as many different states as we do, but we think that's the blueprint for us to build a championship caliber program.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bluffton a little bit. They're 3-3, coming off of a 47-21 loss to Mount St. Joseph, a running team. Yeah. Take me through their offense, first of all, and what stuck out there for you.
Well, what's sticking out is I don't know where they're going to go with the quarterback situation. They've got the young man from Bryan just up the road here, and then they ended up playing Darnell Thomas, who's a freshman but a runner. He didn't throw the ball. I don't think could he throw better? Yes, but he was more of a runner type of guy. So that's what they did. I mean, they did rush from 216 yards on Mount St. Joe, so that's what they do. They have the ability to throw the ball. I mean, they could balance it out a little bit, and I would think that they might try to do that, and they're very capable. The thing there is like, I can't lift the veil and look into what their practices look like because that's how you know if you can do it. If they're practicing and throwing the ball well in practice, they have the ability to do that. That's like us. We're balanced because in practice we throw the ball a lot. We throw as much as anybody in practice, and it's just we want to come into the game and be balanced. Them, I think, they want to be a physical team. I think it's going to be a very physical game on both sides. I think what they do defensively, they do a very good job stopping the run. They always load the box. They play some different fronts. They've switched it up a little bit this year, where we'll see a 4-2 front, and sometimes we see like this 3 odd front, where they've got an extra guy over the top, like a triangle almost, or as a rover that comes downhill, So they're geared to stop the run, and we're geared to run. So it's going to be like a clash of high-powered run type teams. And so I think that's the challenge for us. I think their defense is formidable. I think their offense, it has shown the ability to balance, but they have been one-dimensional lately, and that's what we got to see. Can they split it up a little bit? So we need to do a great job stopping the run, and then hopefully, we continue to be aligned properly in the secondary, and we can make some plays.
Yeah, Coach, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good luck on Saturday down at Bluffton.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and as our alums would say, beat the Beavers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you for joining us on the Swarm and Shoot Football Show. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure to subscribe in iTunes. Give us a rating, comment on the show. If you'd like to get all kinds of updates, go to our website at swarmandshoot.com, where you will be up to date on all of our podcasts with audio and YouTube versions on there as well. All right. See feature articles on our current players and alumni, along with updates of what's going on in the program. Take a minute and subscribe with your email to receive these regular alerts every time we update the website.